And then on yours, try to be more very, that's the most specifically you choreograph, right? Dominant, more the hip, dominant. Like, very, think of very jet. Very, yes, very jet. Like, more of that. Your movement should look more like pictures.
I think I fell in love with music since I was a little kid. When you go through bullying, I'm sure like a lot of people have, everyone has their own form of escape, and there was always a song or two that I could either relate to or that would help me dream. And dreaming is what kept me going. I started writing with poetry. I'm a poet by nature, therefore I can have something of an idea in my head, and from that idea I'll just write. But if there's a beat that I'm wanting to write to, it makes it a little easier to turn that piece of poetry into a verse. And that's kind of where I start. I think I need the song itself or the beat, and then the words just naturally come out.
So we don't need these candles anymore, right?
Did you make a wish?
Nope.
Yes. You're good. Thank you. When I was living away and I was getting my degree for audio engineering, I was in a relationship that was pretty toxic. Mm-hmm. Last time I saw the guy, it was because I let the cops take him away in handcuffs. That was my big reason why I moved back from LA to Texas, was that when I did that, I wasn't in a place mentally or emotionally well at all, and I didn't heal from it at all. I wasn't really coping. I went to counseling and therapy maybe for like a few weeks, and then I stopped going. Because of that, not facing my issues, not really handling things as well as I should, I started escaping in a way by going out and partying a lot. Clubbing became one of my vices, by going to the club. What I loved about going to the club was being able to be drowned into the music. It was always about the music for me whenever I would go out. Being able to have that bass take over every physical part in you, because when you're next to a speaker in a club, you can feel that bass literally in your bones. And that's a type of adrenaline and high not a lot of people really understand. But that was always it for me. It was when I would go out, it became about being able to just get lost in that little moment. And so I would go out, I ended up meeting a lot of friends, and I started really getting lost into the club world and into the club vibe. I started going out a lot, partying a lot. From the club world, however, like any other drug, you kind of get used to it and you need something else to keep that high going. So from the club world, I went into the car world. I started racing. Racing led me to some illegal racing and illegal activities. Started driving some things. However, one day it wasn't just something. Driving illegally became driving as someone. And I got arrested for transportation of an illegal immigrant. Went to prison for 18 months. And in those 18 months, I went through a lot. I used it to get my mind right. I faced all the demons I was running from. And I did that with a lot of people I met in there that I don't think I would have ever affiliated myself with if it wasn't for prison. And I realized that just because I wasn't doing an actual substance drug doesn't mean I wasn't doing a drug, doesn't mean I wasn't addicted to something, doesn't mean I didn't have the same problems they did, in a sense of what they were trying to clean themselves from. And I got my mind right, and I was able to really hone in on what my priorities were, what the point of it all was, and what was the story that I was going to try to tell at the end of it all. It's a representation of the battles I went through and the war I won against a lot of the issues I was facing myself. And I think that the biggest takeaway from that is that everyone has an issue that they're either running from or facing. In the video, you can see that I decided to represent the 2-3 biggest factors was depression, anxiety, and at that time, another biggest factor that I was dealing with was ego or vanity. Thank God for Miguel Cantu, Andrew Jacobi, Anthony, and my directors who are going to go by DJ and AJ. They were my first responders, if you will. From there, we went over what the idea for the video was, and they told me what we could do, what is possible. And from there, I had to reach through a lot of my connections and resources. Thankfully, I know a lot of people in every aspect because of the fact that I've worked in the film world for quite a bit, and I also do dance myself, that I knew a lot of these people already. My first contact was Marcus Shields out in LA. He's a friend of mine, and he told me to reach out to Jackie. She has a dance studio here in town.
Doing, so you would go, no, you would go, yeah, you would go first. You go, so we hit 5, 6, 7, 8, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
And she was able to help me pull together the routine that I knew I had in my head too. And I told her I wanted to incorporate these stunts that I knew would be able to tell the story a lot better than just some dance routine.
You're gonna run, you're gonna go up, bring it back, and then from there go up into the bench, and then up into the twist. Push.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, you need to do that in practice though too.
Right.
That same drum.
Now you're calling her out. Now you're calling her out. I was like, oh, you can do it for your video, but you can't do it for us.
Yes.
So I was able to have Stasia and Stefon McGarity. They are brother and sister actually. And because of their love for the sport and their experience with it, I knew that they would be able to help me come up with the stunts on how to also be able to incorporate this into the storyline. They were able to help Jackie as well, being able to fix the stunt so it's technically correct, and of course, very importantly, so everyone is kept safe.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step back. Okay.
There was actually a couple times I did fall from a stunt. Accidents happen. I wish we had longer time to rehearse, but all in all, our rehearsal times totaled out to maybe 2 weeks, 4 practices, and I would say 1 dress rehearsal, which was the day before the shoot.
So you figured out the truth, still can't leave. I got to hook the ice alive. Look in the mirror, falling with the facts undenied. I'm a lead you and still try to keep me very deep inside. These walls are closing in all around, but it's loud inside my head, messing with my brain. No matter what I do, I can't escape. I can't run from the demon that I am. I can't even breathe from bleeding once again.
So unfortunately, mental health isn't looked at the same as physical health. Issues that don't get faced right away, things that aren't dealt with, they can get worse. And the worse that they get, the bigger the demons get. They can take over you. And that can be detrimental just as much as a physical injury can be. Don't be afraid to face the issues. Like, call them out, name your demons, face them.
Switch it up tonight, let's go for a ride. I've been feeling low, so let's go high. You've been needing some time, let me switch it up tonight. Let's go for a ride, been feeling low, so let's go high. You've been needing some time, let me switch it up tonight. Let's go for a ride, been feeling low, so let's go high. You've been needing some time, so let's go.